Welcome to Weirdaholics with Tiffany
and Nicole.
Weird thing of the week. How about you go first this time?
I will gladly go first this time.
Good, then go.
Actually I don't have anything. Just kidding.
As usual.
As usual. Well, first of all, I came back from a Lindy Hop festival, which is kind of weird, I think. Not a lot of people do that, so that's weird. It was really fun. Highly recommend. But the other weird thing is I've been seeing like weird shadowy things this evening. And so when I walked past the laundry room today, you had your laundry basket out. And I thought it was like some creepy person crouched down, and my heart was just like, what the fuck?
Creepy.
And then getting into the car from the grocery store, my hair was kind of in my face on my right side, and I thought someone was sitting in the passenger side. And I was like, what the fuck is this person doing in my car? But it was just my hair. And then
maybe you have an intuition that somebody's watching you.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any angel numbers, so it's not a guardian angel. It's definitely a demon. So Mr. Demon or Mrs., please don't hurt me tonight, okay? Thank you. I don't want to be possessed
I'm sure that prayer will work.
Dear demon. Yeah, so that's weird, and I should probably just get some sleep.
Yeah.
Or I should make a blood sacrifice. I don't know which one.
Both, just to be safe. 'Cause you didn't get much sleep at the Lindy Hop.
Yeah.
Was it
festival thing.
Event?
Yeah, event. That's a good way to put it. Yep, event.
So let's see after you get a good night's sleep if you still keep seeing things.
Yeah, if I keep seeing things, it's getting into Halloween season, so maybe
the veil is thin.
The veil is thin. The Zion's curtain has lifted. What's your weird thing?
So, since I just basically sit on the couch all day because I can't walk on my ankle, if you didn't already know, I broke my ankle. We mentioned it last episode. I haven't really had anything weird happen. So I just have a weird news story.
Perfect.
Since my life is super casual right now. So this happened in April 2021, but I just barely found out about it, so it's new to me. A Fox 35 viewer, and this is Florida, of course, sent in a video of what she says appeared to be a baby dinosaur running through her yard one night. The creature was captured on her home security camera. Quote, "Any animal we can come up with that would be walking at 3:40 in the morning wouldn't walk this way," Christina Ryan told Fox 35 News. And she said everyone she has shown the video to comes up with the same conclusion. It looks like a baby dinosaur.
It really does. It looks like a baby T-Rex or something.
Yeah.
It has its arms like that, and like the big head and the legs, and it's moving really fast too. It's just like
yeah, it looks just like a baby T-Rex.
Yeah, and it has like the little tail.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's like a fake puppet or toy. It looks like an actual animal.
It's moving in like 60 FPS, so yeah, it looks real.
So if you want to look it up, check out on YouTube, Florida woman spots baby dinosaur running through yard.
So no conclusion to that, I assume.
No, well, I couldn't find anything that I couldn't find out what it really was.
I would imagine if someone brought this to the news or the police or something, they'd be like, yeah, we'll definitely go check it out and, open a case for it. Crazy lady.
If she didn't have video footage, then yeah, they would have just been like freaking Florida people. Let's start off with a quick disclaimer. This is a This is a podcast. This is a comedy podcast. We will be making jokes, and sometimes we'll go off on tangents while we talk about weird shit. If that's not what you're looking for, that's okay. There are lots of other podcasts out there for you to choose from.
Maybe like NPR or something.
Yeah. If you're into a more fun and casual podcast where there's jokes and banter between two friends, then listen on, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
And scene. Side note, I've got a lovely little Nightmare Before Christmas. I almost said Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare Before Christmas cup, which is yours, filled with some delicious hot chocolate type of drink.
Mexican hot chocolate.
Mexican hot chocolate. And I am comfy, cozy, and I hope you are too.
And I've got
your vape.
Vizzy Mimosa. It's like a seltzer drink.
And a vape. Don't forget that.
And a vape.
That's cozy.
So I decided to talk about the Loch Ness Monster because you brought it up last week with your weird news story. And I was like, hey, we haven't done that one yet, but it's like one of the most famous cryptids. So we're going to go over that.
I love it. Actually, I kind of like it. I don't love it yet, but once you're done with the story, then I'll decide if I love it.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like so well known that it's almost taken for granted.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't even bothered doing the Loch Ness Monster yet.
I could see that.
But as I was getting into the research, I was starting to become a fan. So hopefully this will be good.
Good.
So Loch Ness Monster is also known as Nessie.
I'm going to name my firstborn that.
It's a pretty cute name, actually.
Yeah, it is.
So this is a water creature that is believed to inhabit Loch Ness, which is a lake in Scotland. Loch means lake, if you didn't already know. Loch Ness.
What does Ness mean?
It's a name, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Oh, well, I guess that makes sense. Lake Ness.
Lake Ness, yeah. So
we're smart.
Here's some facts about Loch Ness to start off with, because I feel like that's important to know just how big this lake is.
And deep, too, isn't it? Like super deep?
Super deep.
Yeah.
Giggity.
So deep.
So this is facts that I found on visitinvernesslochness.com. So Loch Ness is about 23 miles long. It's a narrow, deep glen that runs right across Scotland, east to west, following the line of the 380 million-year-old Great Glen Fault. So there's actually a fault underneath that lake.
And it's 300 and what million?
380 million-year-old fault.
Okay.
Yep. And this lake was carved out by glaciers during the last ice age.
Didn't you teach me about canyons if they're formed by glaciers or lakes or rivers?
If the canyon was formed by a glacier, it's more of a U shape. And if it was formed by rivers, it's more of a V shape.
Mm-hmm. I think of that every time I go to the mountains now. I'm like,
you're welcome.
That's a glacier mountain range.
And like we said, it's very deep. It reaches about 754 feet at its deepest point.
Same with my ex-wife.
She gets that deep?
Oh, yeah.
Give me her number. It's even deeper than the North Sea, if that means anything to you.
It doesn't, but I can imagine it.
I can compare now.
Do you have the stats on the North Sea?
Yeah, actually, let's not even talk about Nessie. We're just going to talk about stats on different
geography.
Lakes and seas. Let me tell you about all the different lakes and seas in the world.
Look, if I was a sea monster or a lake monster, I would want to get to the deepest, darkest depths. And it sounds like Loch Ness seems to be, but the North Sea is another contender, so...
Well, it's not even as deep, so it's not even as good.
So it's not even as contending.
So all of the sea monsters will leave the North Sea for the
and
Loch Ness.
swim over to Loch Ness.
Yes.
Because they can't walk on land.
That's what the whole stat was about.
This is just the best episode so far. I love the stats, or lack thereof.
We just got started.
Mm-hmm.
Loch Ness holds the largest volume of fresh water in the whole UK.
So what's the cube footage water of
Oh,
that?
man.
I'm just kidding.
That is one stat I did not get.
Damn.
But I do know that it holds more water than all the lakes in England and Wales combined.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
What's more, there's enough water here to submerge every human being on the planet, not just once, but more than 3 times over. How about let's go ahead and submerge all the humans on the planet? Like, that sounds nice to me.
I would love that. But also, what? That's mind-boggling. Because
Who did that math?
Yeah.
What if they were wrong? What if they accidentally added 1 too many zeros?
Yeah. There's humans. Oh, there's people who are like 3 feet tall. There's people who are more than 7 feet tall.
They probably took the average.
Oh, that's just not accurate.
Yeah, but That's what math is, I guess.
Well, that's why I failed math, okay?
So, yeah, it's a large volume of fresh water.
It is large and in charge.
Mm-hmm. Just like Marge.
Oh, I was going to say
Large
Sheila,
Marge.
but yeah, Large Marge is much better.
Large Marge says hi.
Rip.
Who? Rip?
Pee Wee Herman guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about Large Marge.
Well, she actually might be dead too. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, she probably is. So, rest in peace, Large Marge as well. Since we haven't been able to prove beyond a doubt that Nessie is real, just believe me when I say she is. She remains a mythical creature, aka cryptid, to this day.
For some dumb reason, I just automatically thought she was a he, even though the name is Nessie, which is like a female name.
I always assumed she.
I just assume everything's male because that's male dominated. We have to insert some sort of male joke in here. Come on, people.
So I'm gonna say she. I almost said he.
Shim. Yeah, say she.
Well, you know, when I was doing my research, I'm trying to think, did they ever say she or he? And I'm thinking they only called her horrible names like monster.
Bitch. Monster.
So.
Well, yeah, so Nessie's never, well, I guess maybe you'll tell us about this, but we haven't even seen Nessie's private bits, so
nope.
Who's to say, really?
She has a very feminine neck, though.
Yeah, oh, yeah, love the neck. So many necklaces can fit on that.
Yeah, so she must be a girl. I'm just going to say she, just to do it.
Perfect.
Just because I can.
Just do it.
So, people who have seen Nessie often describe her as a large, long-necked water creature who has one or more humps on the body, protruding from the water, and swims using flippers. So it sounds like a female.
Yeah, one hump.
One or more humps. My
long
hump,
neck.
My hump, my hump, my hump. Some believe the Loch Ness monster, or ancestors of this monster, go back to ancient times, because there are picked stone carvings nearby of a mysterious beast with flippers. And if you don't already know, picked is a word for like ancient peoples. So there's actual stone carvings of Nessie.
That's amazing. Or is it Lapras, the Pokemon? Who knows?
I'm pretty sure Lapras wasn't a thing back then. Maybe Lapras is Nessie.
Maybe
it looks just like Nessie.
Maybe Pokemon were real, like dinosaurs, but then they all died off because of a meteor, and... Yeah.
Where are their bones then?
They disintegrated.
We don't see Pikachu bones.
How do you know? Maybe the dinosaur bones are Pokemon, so dinosaurs are Pokemon. That's the moral of the story.
Oh my goodness. I've learned so much.
And depths of lakes.
Depth of brain. According to the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register, and yes, there is such a thing, there's been over 1,100 recorded sightings of Nessie. That's a lot.
It is.
Many of the eyewitnesses were sober, level-headed people, like lawyers, priests, scientists, school teachers, policemen, and fishermen. Even...
So, like, every career ever.
Yeah, every career ever has seen a Nessie. Even a Nobel Prize winner has had a sighting.
Wow, I am so impressed. This is very believable.
It is. I mean, it gets more believable.
Yeah.
So, because there's so many sightings, of course I can't go over all the sightings.
Name every person ever. Oh, you've seen Loch Ness Monster? Name every person.
You sound like Dwight. So I can't go over all the sightings. I'll just tell you about the few main ones that I could find online. The official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register was created and kept by Gary Campbell. He kind of just volunteered his life to this. Weird. He actually saw something in Loch Ness in 1996, and he only saw it for a few seconds, but he remembers seeing a black shiny hump that came out of the water twice. When he realized that there was nowhere to record his sighting officially, he and his wife decided to start the official register together.
So people just write their names on this register?
They go to him, they let him know that they had a sighting, and then he records exactly like when they saw it, what exactly they saw, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so there might be some liars on there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Lot of them, yes. And that's why a lot of sightings aren't worth mentioning. It's just like some main ones that are worth mentioning.
Yeah. I guess if they have a really good description, maybe it's hard to make up a good description unless you actually see it.
Well, I don't know. I think there's kind of just you can just tell when something's more credible and the person themselves seem more credible.
Yeah, I'd believe a scientist over
priest?
a soup maker. Yeah, or a priest.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust a soup maker either.
Yeah.
Like, they just,
no
like,
soup for you.
throw so many random ingredients in broth. Like,
Yeah.
who does that?
Yeah, honestly, corn. No thanks.
Corn and chowder? What?
You.
Actually, it's really delicious.
I know.
Except I don't eat corn chowder because I'm vegetarian. But, you know, before.
Corn chowder's not vegetarian.
Isn't it have, like, clams in it?
No, that's clam chowder.
Oh.
I think corn chowder is like
Is corn chowder even a thing?
I don't know, actually.
Maybe I'm mixing two soups together.
I think a chowder is like milk base, and then there's soups that are just broth.
Okay, I don't really care that much. Let's move on.
Yeah. So there's a lake made of soup, and it's 8 billion people deep.
Yes. It can drown all the people 3 times over.
With corn.
So because of Gary's experience of recording all these sightings, he has a pretty good idea of what this thing could be. Here's a quote from him. "I think what people are seeing must be animate, and it's likely that there's a family of whatever there is. Perhaps eels, another big fish, or perhaps something still undiscovered. I think that it lives deep down and comes to the surface almost by accident. For example, due to seiches within the loch. And seiches are standing waves in an enclosed or partially enclosed body of water."
So it lives underwater. It doesn't need to come up for air, and the waves just bring it up sometimes.
Yeah, like a disturbance in the water because of the seiches that can happen in this lake, or maybe an earthquake because it's on a fault line.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my god, no, I don't want to go to the surface. And then it pops up, it's like, boop. And then it's like, okay, gotta get back down real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to call out another person who has devoted a lot of his life to the search for Nessie. His name is Steve Feltham.
Steve Feltham.
Or Feltham.
Steve Feltham.
He's known as the Monster Hunter.
That's cool. I wish I was known as the Monster Hunter.
I mean, that is a pretty cool nickname to get.
Yeah.
When Steve was only 7 years old, his family went to Loch Ness in 1970, and he's been fascinated by Nessie ever since. So in 1991, Steve became a full-time monster hunter and started living in a van down by the loch.
The Chris Farley thing.
Yeah.
Man down by the river.
He set a world record for the longest vigil of looking for the monster.
What does that mean exactly?
A vigil means, like, you're keeping a watch out.
Oh, okay.
So,
I was thinking, like, candlelight vigils. Like, he has, like, some altar set up or something.
The longest vigil. No, it's more like he's been looking for Nessie consistently for the longest amount of time.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
So here's a quote from the monster hunter, Steve. "The best evidence I've seen are the sonar contacts made by the crew's Loch Ness boat, which has made several large contacts near the very bottom of the loch, near Invermoriston, including one the size of a transit van. There is definitely something big at the end of the loch."
At the bottom of the loch.
I don't know, I just copied pasted this quote and read it to you.
Yeah. I was thinking a little hard about that one for a second, because I'm like, oh,
Why
you can see at the
end?
very end. Wait, no, it's the bottom, which technically is the end if you flip it over this way.
If you flip
it on its y-axis, and then
that is the end.
And then you swap it over to the x-axis.
Yeah.
More math, because it's math night.
So sightings of Nessie will actually vary in their descriptions. So we have the typical humped sea serpent-like creature with a long neck. We have descriptions of black scaly dots in the water. Some people say it looks like an upturned boat that moves strangely. Other people see a whale-like creature, and others say that it has a head like an elephant.
What? That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, totally different than the sea serpent thing, dinosaur
They all
thing?
kind of, like, similar, but depending on, like, what angle they're looking or how much of the creature they see, it kind of looks a little different to everyone.
Yeah.
Also, the waters of Loch Ness are very dark in color due to the high peat content, so it's really hard to see anything well in the water.
The high pee content?
Peat.
Oh.
P-E-A-T. Yeah.
People just go there to pee in it.
I mean, it is a sewage. Just kidding. So it makes it even harder for people to really know what they're saying because it's so dark in there.
Yeah.
Many people believe that Nessie could be a survivor. Well, I don't know about many. Some people believe that Nessie could be a survivor of the Plesiosaurus, which was a flippered marine reptile that coexisted with dinosaurs. Can you guess how long ago the first ever recorded report of Nessie is?
Give me a hint. Is it 1900s or 18? Or earlier?
Earlier.
1600s.
565 AD.
No.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess that was... You said that they were carved on rocks, so I was definitely...
that's not like a recorded... Recorded as in, like, it was written.
Okay. Like, hey, this person saw this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. But damn!
That was a long time ago.
That is
so Nessie...
after death of Christ.
So, sightings of Nessie have been happening for, like, 1,500 years or more.
Yeah.
I mean, even longer because they were on stone carvings.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing is like ancient.
She old as fuck.
Yeah, or like just surviving throughout the years with babies, you know. So the first written account appears in a 7th century biography of Saint Columba. But the story itself in the biography says the experience happened in 565 AD. So either Nessie's about 1,500 years old, or there's lots of these creatures that have reproduced and continue to live in the loch. I'm going to assume it's the latter.
Yeah, they're just inbreeding a bunch, and that's probably
inbreeding,
why...
yeah.
That's probably why it looks the way it looks, too.
That could explain it.
Maybe it was
all
supposed
the
to be... Maybe it was supposed to be an eel, and then it just turned into this creature after, like, inbreeding.
Yeah, it could be inbred eels.
Ew, creepy.
And that's why it's, like, so lumpy, and it sticks its head out.
Yeah.
Like that, and like an eel would not stick its head out like that, but it's inbred.
Ugh,
that might
weird.
be it.
Alabama 100.
Here's the story that he wrote about. An Irish monk named Saint Columba was staying in the land of the Picts, which was the ancient people, with his companions when he saw a few locals burying a man by the river Ness. They asked what happened to the man and learned that he was swimming in the river when he was attacked by a water beast that mauled him and dragged him underwater despite their attempts to try to rescue him. So after hearing this, St. Columba sent one of his followers to swim across the river. Like, how nice.
He's like, hey, bro, go across the river and go find this thing.
Oh, you're really faithful to me and God? How about you go swim across the river a guy just died in?
Sounds like someone else we know. Never mind. I was thinking about the story of Jesus where... he, like, walks on water, but then, like, Paul didn't believe or something.
He's like, how about you try it, bitch?
Yeah.
And then he drowns.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, his follower, he decided to go ahead and do it, and do what he was told. They saw the beast approach him, but Columba made the sign of a cross and said, "Go no further, do not touch the man, go back at once." The creature stopped as if it had been pulled back with ropes and fled.
Whoa.
And apparently Columba's men and the locals were really impressed by this miracle, and he probably gained many more followers that day.
I bet it was rigged. I bet someone was under the water with this, like, cutout or the stuffed animal or something, and then he puts up the cross and was like, oh, okay, we gotta swim away now.
I mean, if that really happened, that would be pretty wild, but it's like a little suspicious that he would like send his follower to like potentially get killed, and then he works some kind of miracle. That seems a little sketchy to me, but there was a water beast apparently,
and he is demonic or something evil.
Yeah, the water beast must be demonic if it's repelled by the sign of the cross. Good to know.
You learn something new every day.
Did you know that Nessie is demonic? So this next encounter is in 1933, so we're skipping ahead.
You know, if you didn't tell me all the stuff that you've told me so far, I would have guessed that this 1930s one, or the most famous photo one, is from like the 30s.
It is.
Cool. Okay, cool.
So there was an article published May 2nd, 1933, that brought the Loch Ness monster to the public's attention. It was an article by Alex Campbell of the Inverness Courier. This sighting is labeled as the first modern-day sighting of the Loch Ness Monster. This article talked about how Aldi McKay saw an enormous whale-like beast rolling in the water in the loch, while she and her husband John were driving along the north shore of the loch, April 1933. They were startled to see sudden movement in the loch when it was just calm before. So here's an excerpt from the article. The creature disported itself, rolling and plunging for fully a minute, its body resembling that of a whale, and the water cascading and churning like a simmering cauldron. Soon, however, it disappeared in a boiling mass of foam.
It sounds like a whale, almost. Like, if I saw that, I would think it's a whale.
Yeah, a whale that has a lot of gas.
Yeah. Sounds like my ex-wife.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh, Sheila.
Mr. Campbell said the Courier's story was unique as it referred to a monster. This had never been the case before. It was always just the Kelpie. So there's legendary stories of Kelpie, but at this point it was turning into its own type of monster rather than just a generalized Kelpie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure eventually I'll do an episode, or you can, on the Kelpie, because that's a really interesting one too. This next sighting happened July 1933, so same year. George Spicer and his wife saw, quote, a most extraordinary form of animal, end quote, cross the road in front of their car. Spicer said it was the closest thing he's ever seen to a dragon or prehistoric animal.
Weird.
A dragon.
And it, like, crawled across the road?
Yeah, I'll actually describe it a little bit.
Eesh.
It had a large body and a long, narrow neck that bobbed up and down as it lurched across the road. So it was like lurching.
I hate that.
It was heading toward the loch that was about 20 yards away. The body was fairly big with a high back. That could explain, like, the hump.
Yeah.
He didn't see any limbs, so he assumed it had webbed limbs, especially with the way it was lurching.
Oh.
Then they lost sight of it after it crossed the road, but they believe it disappeared into the loch. George Spicer's sighting was published and it gained a lot of attention. It became so popular that letters started pouring in from other people saying that they've also had sightings, so it was just gaining more and more popularity. People started to use a lot of different names for the monster at first, like monster fish, sea serpent, dragon. But the final name that people ultimately settled on was the Loch Ness Monster. Okay.
Yeah, not the most creative, but it's famous now, so that's good.
I think it's more creative than monster fish.
Monster fish.
And in the 1940s, people started using the nickname Nessie.
I like it. It's cute.
Mm-hmm. The Spicers were the first to describe Nessie as a plesiosaurus type of dinosaur. Like I said, that's a marine reptile dinosaur that went extinct about 65 million years ago.
Okay, side note, I'm seeing things again. I just saw, like, this black little, like, oval thing, like, whoop, across the ceiling.
Creepy. You need sleep.
Yeah, I guess. Or I need a priest.
Or your eyes are, like, super dirty. It's like, you know, like those dust particles in the eye.
Oh, yeah. Or aliens.
Or aliens. But researchers at Columbia University in 2013 say that George Spicer made up this story after he saw a long-necked dino that rises out of a lake in King Kong, which was a very popular movie that year.
Oh,
so they think he got his inspiration from that movie. But where's the freaking proof?
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't have proof. You don't have proof. You all are just arguing.
Everyone's just wrong. Wrong.
So, you know how you have that image of, like, the most popular Nessie photo?
Mm-hmm.
There was a photo that actually happened before that never really gained popularity as much.
Sad.
And I'll go over why. So this was November 1933, so we're still in the same year. Hugh Gray took a photo, and this was the first official photo of Nessie. Many believe that this photo is a hoax because it's slightly blurred, and some say that if you look closely, you can see the head of a dog. And Gray had taken his lab out for a walk that day, so they suspect that the photo is actually a picture of his dog fetching the stick in the lake.
How do they know he took his dog out that day?
Oh, actually, I can see it. All of a sudden, I see the face of the dog and the stick.
Oh, I want to see.
Now that I'm looking at the photo again, and yeah, I can see that. I'll share the photo. Y'all can decide for yourself, but...
I want to see now.
Do you see the dog?
I don't even know what I'm looking
So
at.
the dog is facing us. That's its head. And the stick is this.
Oh.
Does look like it, huh?
Okay. So that's a dog. It is really blurry, so it could be really anything. Because it's like when an image is blurry, and also when someone tells you what they think the image is,
then that's all you see.
Yeah. Like
yeah, that's all I see now.
Like those stupid EVPs that Zach Bagans does, and it's like, it says, I'm sorry, and then you start hearing, I'm sorry, or you don't hear anything at all.
If someone tells you what they think it sounds like, that all of a sudden, yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, it's like that.
It's either a dog or Nessie, you decide.
Well, others say that it's actually an otter or a swan.
Two different creatures.
It's a blurry picture. Yeah, it could be anything.
It is really blurry.
So that's why a lot of people claim this is fake. That's why this one didn't gain as much popularity, because it was almost immediately like, that's your dog fetching his stick?
Yeah.
The original negative was lost. However, in 1963, Maurice Burton came into possession of 2 lantern slides, contact positives from the original negative, and when projected onto a screen, it revealed an otter rolling at the surface of the water.
Oh, debunked.
So now I'm starting to see if I can see the otter, because I still see the dog face now.
I didn't even know otters could be in that lake.
Yep, they sure can. Swimming deer as well. There's all kinds of stuff. Oh, wow. So this next story is pretty interesting. This is December 1933, very active year for Loch Ness.
Yeah, apparently.
The Daily Mail paid a big game hunter named Marmaduke Wetherill.
That is the best name I've ever heard in my life.
Marmaduke. You just don't hear names like that anymore.
I know. We should bring those back.
Yeah, it's the 1930s that had all the good names.
Marmaduke and Gertie and
Beatrice.
Yeah, Beatrice.
So they paid this big game hunter to try to find the Loch Ness monster, okay? And along the shore of the lake, he found large footprints that he believed belonged to a very powerful, soft-footed animal about 20 feet long. And a lot of people believe that Nessie is about 20 to 30 feet long. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh my god, we got tracks. So Wetherill made plaster casts of the footprints, sent them off to the Natural History Museum in London for analysis. But after some research, zoologists at the museum determined that a prankster had used a hippo foot umbrella stand. It's like a big bucket in the shape of a hippo foot, or made actually of a hippo foot. Ooh. And they would put umbrellas in there.
That's fucking weird.
So someone used that to make the tracks.
We should get one of those, because that's weird.
If it was real, someone chopped off this elephant's foot to make this thing. I mean, they used to hunt elephants like crazy back then with like the tusks and everything. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were using their feet as decor for the house, you know?
The 30s were wild, man. Yeah. God. I'm creeped out.
So after that was debunked, I'm sure Marmaduke was very embarrassed, because he's like this big game hunter. Yeah. You know, I feel like he was probably in on it, because if he's a big game hunter, he could easily have an elephant foot as an umbrella stand.
Yeah. He would know exactly what an elephant foot looks like, or a hippo foot, whatever. He would know.
Yeah, so for him to think, oh, this could be Nessie, I think...
He's got to be in on it.
So we're not sure 100% if he was in on it or if he just fell for it, but from what we just talked about, I think he did it. Yeah. I think he was creating the hoax. Yeah. He was in on it.
I wonder if he got paid before and then he just started running with it. Yeah.
He wanted to like just come up with something.
Yeah.
But then he got caught and then was embarrassed. And that actually comes back later, I'll tell you about. Next, we're finally in 1934. It was about 1 a.m. on a moonlit night, 5th of January. Arthur Grant was riding his motorcycle when he almost hit Nessie near the northeastern end of the loch. He said the creature saw him and crossed the road back to the loch. It had a small head attached to a long neck, and it was a cross between a seal and a plesiosaur. He said he got off his bike and then followed it to the loch, but saw only ripples in the water. Haters believe that Grant saw an otter, and just exaggerated his sighting over time just to make a good story of it.
Haters gonna hate.
That was a seal.
Oh my gosh.
Or
I feel like
that was
it's
an otter or a
huge.
seal, they said.
Well,
He did say it was a cross between a seal, but a cross between a seal and a plesiosaur, like, that's a big,
it's huge.
huge difference.
Yeah, it's a huge creature. So, yeah, someone's lying once again.
Everyone's a liar.
Everyone's a fucking liar nowadays. Can't trust nobody.
Okay, this next one happened in 1934, and this is the famous photo of Nessie that we all know. It's where you see, like, the neck and head. It's very kind of clear.
It looks like a little dinosaur.
Yeah, it's a black and white photo. Yeah, this is the famous photo. So it was 1934. This photo was sold to the Daily Mail by a London physician named R. Kenneth Wilson, and the photo became known as the surgeon's photograph. So if you want to look it up, surgeon's photograph, should pull it up, but I'll also share this on our social media. Wilson said he was looking at the loch when he saw the monster, grabbed his camera, and took 4 photos. Only 2 exposures came out clearly. The first photo became well known, and the second one was too blurry. The photo was considered evidence of Nessie, but skeptics dismissed it as driftwood, an elephant, an otter, or a bird. It's either an elephant or a bird.
Why did they keep coming up with otters? Like, otters, first of all, are just, like, not shaped like that at all.
They are if it's blurry enough, but
yeah,
but this is so
are.
different. Like, if we think about that famous photo, like, there's no fucking way that was an otter, unless the otter was holding up an elephant's trunk.
It was, like, almost S-shaped. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It has really, really bad posture, maybe, and it was standing on the log.
An otter with really bad posture. Or like a meerkat with really bad posture, really, and it was standing on a rock in the lake.
Yeah. Elephant I could probably see.
Yeah, maybe.
But why would an elephant be in Loch Ness?
Well, I'll go over that in a little bit.
Okay.
Why an elephant might be in Loch Ness, but still it seems so far-fetched. Like, why are people more ready to believe it's an elephant in Loch Ness over just a creature that we haven't really identified? Like,
that elephant seems way more bogus than some unidentified creature.
Yeah, because we haven't discovered most of the ocean anyways, and there's still animals that are being rediscovered.
Yeah.
Even ones that we thought were extinct are being rediscovered.
Oh, yeah. And insects. Like, billions of insects are still undiscovered. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, so why is it so hard to believe on Nessie? I don't know. Well, sadly, in 1994, the surgeon's photograph was revealed to be a fake.
Oh, god damn it.
And the reason why it stayed so popular for so long is because we didn't figure out it was a fake till so long later.
Yeah.
That by then it was already so popular, you know?
Yeah.
So, you remember our friend... No, he's not my friend at all because he was a big game hunter.
Yeah, oh, Marmaduke.
Marmaduke
Old
Weatherall.
Dookie boy. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so he was unhappy with how he was treated after the tracks he found turned out to be made by a hippo's feet umbrella thingy.
Yeah, he was caught red-handed, and he was just like,
it wasn't me.
yeah,
It wasn't me.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Wasn't me. So he plotted his revenge.
Murder.
Yes, he murdered everyone who said it was a fake. No. He enlisted the help from some family members and friends, and they staged a photo of Nessie. Supposedly, the monster in the picture was made by grafting a plastic wood neck to a toy submarine.
Ugh, I hate that.
So the toy submarine was in the water, like floating kind of right below the surface, and they just had this wood neck and head on top of a submarine just showing up on the water and took pictures.
They're smart.
So he was embarrassed by the whole, I found tracks of Nessie. So he faked a photo. Like, come on, let it go, dude.
Yeah, he's got like an ego or something.
Yeah.
He's like the monster hunter, and then he fakes something out, and then he gets all butthurt, so he has to make something up again.
And apparently his friend here, the physician R. Kenneth Wilson, Marmaduke was friends with him and convinced him to submit the image. So, because it would seem too suspicious if it came from Marmaduke, you know.
Yeah, true.
Or he was just such a coward that if it turned out to be a fake, he didn't want his name attached to it again.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. He's like such a little bitch.
Yeah, so I think it was Marmaduke's stepson or something that finally revealed the story. That's why we know about it.
Oh, okay, so we got a narc on our hands, too. Yeah. We got a little bitch.
Yeah, because I think Marmaduke was probably dead by the time it was revealed to be hoax. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I
guess I probably would, too. I'd be like, hey, everyone, you dumbasses, this is fake.
Yeah. Next, in 1954... sonar readings were taken by the fishing boat Rival 3. Its crew noted a large object that was keeping pace with their vessel at a depth of 479 feet. It was detected for 2,600 feet before contact was lost and regained.
Do you know if anyone's actually gone down to the bottom of Loch Ness? Or is it too deep?
I think it's too deep. It'd probably be too expensive, but they have technology of sonar readings, so we don't really need to go to the bottom physically because they can see to the bottom using sonar.
Yeah.
So we have some sonar stuff coming up as we get to the more recent times.
Yeah.
So next story is from Peter McNabb on July 29th, 1955. So he was at Urquhart Castle. He took a photo that depicted 2 long black humps in the water. And the photo wasn't made public until it appeared in Constant White's 1957 book. On 23rd of October 1958, it was published by the Weekly Scotsman. Arthur Ronald Binns wrote that the phenomenon which McNabb photographed could easily be a wave effect resulting from 3 trawlers traveling closely together up the loch. And other researchers consider the photograph to be a hoax.
Or it could be an otter. Have you ever thought about that, people?
That's still a hoax because it's just an otter. But it's a beautiful photo of an otter. It's not Nessie. I don't want it.
That's utterly unbelievable.
Ooh, good one, Dad.
Daddy.
So Roy Mackle requested to use the photo in his 1976 book. He received the original negative from McNabb, but discovered that it was different from the photo that appeared in White's book. The tree at the bottom left in White's was missing from the negative. So it's suspected that the photo was doctored by rephotographing a print.
Oh, I hate when my photos get doctored. It's the worst.
I didn't ask for a doctor to be in this photo. Now you're supposed to say, good one, Dad.
Oh, good one, Dad. Good one, Daddy.
It sucks that all these that are like, okay, this one was a hoax, but this one might not be,
Yeah.
This one hasn't been, proven to be.
But then years later, it's probably like, oh, it's a hoax.
Yeah.
And we're like, God damn it, we believed it again.
We just need, a grandson or a great-grandson to finally say, it was a hoax.
Yeah.
That, my family knows about it,
My family was crazy.
Yeah, my great-grandpa was, out of his mind.
He was psycho.
And he made all of these hoaxes, so I have a bunch of hoaxes to list off for you.
Every single one of them. Hoax.
Next, we have Dinsdale film in 1960. So, aeronautical engineer Tim Dinsdale, who actually gave up his career to devote his life to pursuing Nessie.
How? How?
I wish that someone would, give up their life to pursue me.
Aww.
What do you mean, how?
Good one, Dad. How
he quit his job.
Yeah, how would he live?
Maybe he also lives in a van down by the Loch Ness. I don't know.
Yeah, they're all just gonna make camp down there with each other.
I don't know. Maybe he gets paid to search for Nessie. I don't know. But he filmed something that looked like a hump crossing Loch Ness. And, wow, a hump crossing Loch Ness.
Clearly it's an otter.
Clearly, I made the right choice to quit my aeronautical engineer career for this.
Everyone, come and see this hump in the water. That's a rock, buddy.
No joke. Joking aside, it's still kind of cool that he is devoting his life to search for Nessie. Some people might not think it's cool, but I think it's cool because I fucking love cryptids.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool job.
So Dinsdale described it as reddish with a blotch on its side. He said that when he mounted his camera, the object began to move, and he shot 40 feet of film.
Whoa, that's a damn lot.
And I'll share this video on our Facebook and probably pictures of the video on both social media accounts. So it was about 1,300 yards away, and it traveled in a zigzag pattern. When it neared the far shore, it turned and almost completely submerged underwater. It left a V-wake measured at 2 feet and moved at a speed about 7 to 10 miles per hour with no sign of propeller wash. So no sign of like a boat's propeller.
Yeah, I'm impressed by these like exact
These stats.
specs. Yeah, stats. Yeah, stats is the word
Specs.
of the day. Spectacles. Like V-shaped, 2 meters long, and then like someone's like writing this down as the
7 to
creature's,
10
like,
miles an hour.
Yeah, swimming away. No propeller, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I'm sure a professional analyzed the footage and like gave him these stats.
Okay, Miss Logical over here.
I'm sure he can just tell right off the top. I don't know. He was an aeronautical engineer.
Perspective.
So maybe.
Maybe the camera was zoomed in and it wasn't in fact 2 meters. You never know.
Yeah, perspective. Others were skeptical, saying that the hump cannot be ruled out as being a boat when the contrast is increased. A man in a boat can be seen, some people say. However, Dinsdale went back out and filmed a 14-foot wooden fishing boat at the same spot to show the difference of the videos. And yeah, it was definitely different, this creature that he filmed versus a boat. Like, you could tell when he was filming a boat when he did the comparison.
Yeah. I don't know. Still sketch. Still think it's an otter.
In 1993, Discovery Communications produced a documentary, Loch Ness Discovered, with a digital enhancement of the Dinsdale film. A person who enhanced the film noticed a shadow in the negative that was not obvious in the developed film. By enhancing and overlaying frames, he found what appeared to be the rear body of a creature underwater.
Ooh.
And here's a quote from him. Her.
Capital H.
The
him.
person that I didn't write their name. Before I saw the film, I thought the Loch Ness Monster was a load of rubbish. Having done the enhancement, I'm not so sure. So here we actually have footage that after being enhanced and played with, it actually seems more likely to be an animal like Nessie versus something that was faked.
Yeah.
So that one's a good one. Next, in 1977, the 70s were a wild year.
Yeah.
Wild decade. So you can assume this one's going to be weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just
No, is it not?
Yeah, it's weird. And in fact, it's called Loch Ness Muppet.
Loch Ness Muppet?
Yeah. So 21st of May, 1977, Anthony Doc Shields took some pretty clear photos of the Loch Ness Monster. Shields was a magician and a psychic who claimed to have summoned Nessie out of the water.
Oh boy.
So now, so far, it sounds like it really happened then.
Illusions, Michael.
It was an illusion. He described it as an elephant squid, and that the long neck in the picture is actually the squid's trunk, and the white spot at the base of the neck is its eye.
The squid, what did he call it?
Elephant squid.
Elephant squid. Oh my gosh. Okay. Continue.
And the long neck is really the squid's trunk. This
guy's on some shit.
I want what he's having.
Yeah.
So people obviously believe this photo is a hoax due to it looking like a staged Muppet-looking creature.
A Muppet.
Yeah, which is why this photo got its nickname, the Loch Ness Muppet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you go ahead and Google it. Loch Ness Muppet. Yeah, it looks stupid. Plus, there's a lack of water ripples around this Muppet creature. Plus, if a psychic magician told me that he summoned Nessie out of the water, I'd instantly call bullshit. Like, I don't even need to see the photo.
No.
Like, no, this didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely post a photo of this one on our social media because, it's fun.
I think he was just trying too hard to, like, be included or something.
He's so lonely.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't have someone to talk to.
You don't have many friends when you're a magician and a psychic,
at the same time. You're like, pick a card, any card. 7, your father thinks great things about you. The dad's, like, talking to him while he's pulling cards for you.
I don't get it.
Never mind.
I don't get it.
Someone's dead father is, like, speaking to them. And, like,
so
hey,
you're saying that he doesn't have any alive friends?
I'm saying... So he's, like, playing cards. It's like, yeah, pick a card, any card. So he's doing the magic trick while also doing psychic shit at the same time. It's like,
that'd be so confusing.
Yeah.
Like, when... How do you know when it's magic versus paranormal.
Yeah.
Like, I would get so confused.
How would you know when to, like, laugh? Like, if it's a funny magic trick and it's like, or it's, like, really cool, you're like, whoa! But then it's like, oh, your grandpa always hated you, or your grandpa's being possessed in the afterlife, and you're like, whoa! Like, so many emotions.
I think I understand your joke now. So you were saying he was trying to ask someone to pick a card, but he didn't realize he asked a ghost to pick a card, and a ghost can't pick a card because they're dead?
No, but that's funny. That's really funny.
I'm still trying to figure out your joke.
It's okay. Only intellectuals can understand my joke.
Oh, that's why I don't get it. It would be hard to do, just, like, differentiate between magic and paranormal stuff all the fucking time.
Well, okay, so if this is... Imagine if you were, like, a real magician... magicians are real magician, and you like have this magic going on, but then a real psychic at the same time, so you have like all these voices in your head or something, like schizophrenia, and then you can't do your magic trick and do your medium stuff at the same time. Like, it's just a shit show.
Actually, you can argue that to be magic you need to be psychic.
Yes.
So that solves all our problems, and now it's not as confusing.
Damn, you're right. We just figured out Blue's Clues. Oh.
So now that we're smarter, next we go on to 2007. So we have recent sightings.
That's when we graduated.
Oh my god, it is. So the day we graduated, it may be 26th of May.
At 3:00 p.m.?
Yeah. A laboratory technician, Gordon Holmes, filmed a jet black thing about 46 feet long, that's extra long, moving fairly fast in the water. He said, my initial thought is it could be a very big eel.
Oh, come on.
No, it could. They have serpent-like features, and they may explain all the sightings in Loch Ness over the years, end quote.
Okay, well, I'll say an eel is probably more likely than an otter.
Or an elephant.
Or an elephant.
Or a freaking bird.
Or a bird. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Eel. We'll go with eel.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards eel after all my research.
Yeah.
And I'll even tell you a little bit more about why.
Okay.
So whatever it was, it moved about 6 miles per hour, and it kept a fairly straight course. Adrian Shine, who is a marine biologist, described the footage as, quote, the best footage he had ever seen, end quote, of Nessie.
Sounds a little Trumpy to me. The best video ever. Like, it's the best. You don't even know. It's the best of the best.
This is a marine biologist saying that this is the best footage he's ever seen of Nessie. I mean, that's something,
It's
right?
believable. And it's, like, nowadays, so...
And I don't have any info. You know, maybe I could find someone out there saying it's a hoax, of course. Yeah. But from my research, I didn't find anyone saying that this one was proven to be a hoax or anything, so we've got something here.
Maybe when he has grandkids in like 30 years, then they'll come out and say it's a hoax.
Yeah, probably. So I'll share this video on our Facebook since I can't post videos on Instagram, but I might be able to post images on both. But if you want to look it up just right now, Holmes video 2007 Loch Ness. Holmes as in Sherlock Holmes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Next, we have a sonar image in 2011, and as time goes on, we're going to get more sonar images. This was August 24th, 2011. Marcus Atkinson, who is a boat captain, took a picture of a sonar image of an unidentified creature that was about 5 feet wide and followed his boat for a few minutes. And it was about 75 feet below the boat, so not that far off.
Yeah.
Loch Ness monster experts don't believe this was just a fish, seal, or wood, so it's good proof of Nessie.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not an eel.
You know, who knows?
We'll let the stats show us.
So here's some quotes so we can make a better decision. Mr. Atkinson said, quote, the object got bigger and bigger, and I thought, bloody hell, and took a picture with my mobile phone. There is nothing that big in the loch. I was in shock as it looked like a big serpent. It's amazing. So a big serpent kind of sounds like an eel. Mm-hmm. You can't fake a sonar image. I have never seen anything returned like this on the fish finder. It is a bizarre shape to me. I have shown it to other experienced skippers, and none of us know what it is. I have seen a lot of pictures in 21 years of being here, and this is the most clearest image yet. Undoubtedly, there's something in the loch, end quote. And like you said, He's been doing this for 21 years, so this
Yeah.
was very different from anything else he's seen.
So we are getting clear images and clear videos.
Yes, with the technology, that's probably why a new resurgence of searches for Nessie has started happening, like the one you talked about, and that I will talk about, because we have new technology to really try to track it down.
Yeah.
Steve Feltham, the monster hunter, if you remember, he said, quote, "There are no animals in the loch as big as the image here. The biggest thing we see are seals, which are nothing compared to this."
There are actual seals in this lake, too.
Yeah.
There's
And
elephants
otters.
and seals and otters and deer and birds and
There's
eels.
a lot, yeah.
This is like a whole ecosystem here.
Yeah. He says, "It can't possibly be fish because in water 75 feet down, you just wouldn't find them. It's very exciting and the best evidence we have had in donkey's years. There is usually a mundane explanation, yet no one has come up with one for this. It's images like this that will keep me going with my hunt for the next 20 years, end quote. Go ahead and ask your question.
I have no questions on this one. I
Not
believe
even-
it.
What
I
about the
believe it.
donkey's ears thing?
I actually was questioning it, but then I was like, I think she probably already mentioned donkey or something.
No.
So I didn't want to feel dumb for asking.
I've never heard that expression before
Me
in
either.
donkey's years. And I looked it up. Donkey's years means a long time. And it's
That's
kind
dumb.
of, it's a pun because donkey's ears, donkey's years,
Oh, I hate that.
because donkey's ears are long.
Yeah.
So it's a long time. I don't know.
I'm going to use that actually from now on. When my boss was like, hey, do you have that project done? I'm like, yeah, it took me donkey's ears to do.
Try it. Donkey's years. And if they're old enough, they might understand what you're saying.
Ugh.
But other marine experts believe this sonar image could just be of algae and zooplankton in the water, but I call bullshit on that because this guy has been doing this for 21 years. He's not going to mistake a sonar image for algae when he has seen hundreds, if not thousands, of sonar images of this lake
People
before.
are just pulling at straws at this point, like trying to debunk shit.
Yeah.
Or trying to make shit. I mean, everyone's just a liar.
Like, no one could get along.
Yep.
2013, we have a video taken by tourist David Elder. He took a 5-minute long video of a mysterious wave in the loch.
I think I've seen this video.
Yeah?
It's kind of like a dark shape.
Yeah. So it does say it was about a 15-foot solid dark object just underneath the surface of the water. Well, that's what he believes what made the wave. So David said, quote, "Out of the corner of my right eye, I caught sight of a black area of water about 15 feet long, which developed into a kind of bow wave. I'm convinced this was caused by a solid black object under the water. The water was very still at the time, and there were no ripples coming off the wave and no other activity on the loch," end quote.
I believe it.
But skeptics suggest that this wave was caused by a seiche. Next, we have an Apple Maps photo in 2014. It was a satellite image that Apple Maps took that appears to be a large creature about 30 meters long just below the surface of Loch Ness. Some believe it's just a boat, and I've seen some comparison photos of that image versus an actual boat, and it does look very similar. But the reason why people think it might be the Loch Ness Monster is because you can't see the boat itself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can see what looks exactly like boat
Like
wash.
under the water, a boat? Or on top of?
Yeah, maybe there was a sub. I don't know, but I'll share a picture of this so people can see. But
Yeah. Or I was wondering
if-
like a boat crash or something, but if it's in the middle of the lake, then...
well, it's obviously a boat that's working because it's a boat wash. So you see the wash behind the boat.
Okay, I see.
But the thing is, the boat itself is really hard to see. So it's almost like the boat is a camouflage boat.
Yeah.
Or for some reason, the satellite image had a hard time capturing the boat, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because of its movement. I don't know. But I'll share a photo so you can see. But at first I was like, ooh, this one's really good. But then comparing it to other boat images, it does look a lot like boat wash rather than a creature wash, you know?
Yeah. Like taking a bath. La la la.
Okay, so this is 2018. Chi Kelly, Chie. What do you think, Chi? Che? Chai? I don't know.
Chi. Let's do Chi. That's cute.
Okay, Chi took a photo of what could be Nessie in 2018. She was anonymous at first because she was worried about being ridiculed, but she eventually went public with her photo after a big search for Nessie happened.
That's a good sign that she wanted to be anonymous.
Right.
Not for the fame, so
yeah.
I believe her.
So she seems pretty trustworthy just from my research on her. I believe her. Even if the picture isn't of Nessie, she still has a genuine attempt to show us Nessie, you know?
Yeah.
In the picture, it looks like there are 2 humps sticking out of the water from about 200 meters from the shore. She told the media that she was taking pictures of her husband and daughter when she saw the object. Quote, "At first I wondered if it was an otter or a pair of otters or seals, but we never saw a head and it never came up again for air. It was making this strange movement on the surface. We didn't hear any sound. There were these strange shapes below the surface. I could not make out any colors. The water was dark. What I saw looked like a serpent. It was definitely a creature, and it was moving." She also said that it was moving right to left at a steady speed. It was spinning and rolling at times. That kind of sounds like an otter, though.
Yeah.
But she said they never saw a head or neck, and again, it never came back up, so do otters just stay under the water?
No.
I wonder how long they can stay under the water for, because
I don't know. I feel like maybe like 5 minutes maximum.
Because if she never saw it come back up,
Yeah.
that's like a little bit weird if it was an otter.
Also, I was thinking, when we think of Loch Ness Monster, we immediately think of the famous one, where it's like the fake one. So we need to get that image out of our head.
Right.
And we need to get this new image in our head of just like this
humpy serpent thing.
Yeah, or just like a humpy serpent thing. Like we don't know exactly what it looks like.
From the beginning, an inbred serpent.
Yeah.
Or inbred eel.
Yeah.
That's
like 46 feet long.
I think that's what Nessie actually looks like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's still beautiful.
So, she showed her picture to Steve Feltham, the monster hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He described these photos as the best things he's seen in 32 years.
Wow.
He said, quote, "These are the most exciting surface pictures of Nessie I have seen. They are exactly the type of pictures I have been wanting to take for 3 decades. It's rare to see something so clear on the surface."
Damn, he's hyping her up.
Yeah.
Like, these pictures better be good.
So, of course, I will post these photos as well. I mean, it just looks like some humps in the water, but...
Maybe we are, in fact, looking at Nessie.
Yeah.
Just use your imagination, folks.
As the years go on, we're getting better and better quality pictures to figure this out. Next, we have Charlotte Robinson, who's only 12 years old.
Aww.
It was only 4 days after Chi Kelly took those photos. Charlotte got her own photos of Nessie.
Ooh.
So they were on a family trip. So Charlotte was there with her family. They were staying at Loch Ness Highland Lodges when she saw Nessie pop up about 50 feet away from her on their very first day of their trip.
Whoa, lucky.
Yeah, when she told her mom, Kat, that she did end up seeing something on their first day, her mom didn't believe her.
Of course.
But after her mom saw the pictures for herself, she was starting to get convinced and knew there was definitely something in the water. So now her mom is a believer.
Of course. After she actually saw...
she doesn't believe her kid, but once she sees pictures,
Like, what else doesn't she believe with her kid?
Mom, there's a guy in my closet. Yeah. Oh, you.
Oh, so it's such a silly kid. Go play with your Barbie
dolls.
No,
Mom, here's the picture of the guy in my closet.
It's
I'm a believer now.
It's some creepy guy. Like, it's all dark, and he has, like, these big eyes, and he's just, like,
so
smiling.
Scary.
Oh, I believe you now, sweetie. Ha, ha, ha. Let's move.
So Charlotte said the creature she saw had a neck and its head was in the shape of a hook. That's kind of creepy.
Ew.
It was black. I just don't know how far it was out in the water. I'm not good at judging distances, she says.
That's fine.
That's fine. You're 12 years old. You'll get there.
Charlotte. It's fine. You'll get there.
Once you're my age, you will know. Not really.
Once you're ancient, you'll understand distances.
I still wouldn't be able to tell you.
No.
So it quickly disappeared. It quickly disappeared and then reemerged elsewhere. She pulled out her cell phone, took a photo of it. She said when the creature did reemerge, it was up for less than a minute, and that's when she took the photos.
What year was this?
2018.
Okay.
Only 4 days after Chi Kelly took her photos.
Okay. I was going to say, I wonder if it was a flip phone and it's like really bad quality, but
No, it's good quality.
Yeah, this is still the year of smartphones.
Yeah, so, I'm pretty sure it was a smartphone.
Yeah.
And now we have drone footage, 2021.
Ooh.
It was a live stream from a drone that captured a 20-foot creature just below the water's surface, close to the shoreline. Richard Maver, who owns the drone, or was taking the drone footage, quote, "The last thing I want to do is make a Nessie claim. I'm the most skeptical of people. But watching this, I think, yeah, there's something a bit strange here. The more I watch it, I think, crikey, there really wasn't anything in the area that it could be."
Crikey, indeed.
But experts who have analyzed the video believe it's a hoax. So Steve, our monster hunter, he says that it didn't look like there's any natural movement in the object, and there was a weird illumination to it. So he was pretty disappointed when he saw the footage. He doesn't think it's real.
He doesn't think it's the best of the best in the world?
No, he thinks it's fake.
Okay.
And then YouTube channel Para Breakdown also analyzed the video and says that a toy plesiosaurus was digitally added to the footage.
Oh, okay. So now we're getting into the age of, yes, we got better technology, but we also have better technology.
Yeah,
So
it's a double-edged sword because,
Photoshop.
we can take better pictures and sonar images, but now stuff is so easy to fake. There's so much thing that people can do all kinds of things to photos now and make it look super real.
Yeah.
So, well, that
We'll
sucks.
never win. We'll never win.
Never win. Last sighting story here is in 2022. An anonymous husband and wife had a holiday cottage that overlooks the loch.
That'd be so beautiful.
It would be.
Oh, how romantic.
And they took a video and a few photos of something in the loch. A strange wake of water trailed behind an object as it swims just below the water's surface, about 150 yards from the shore. The wife said, quote, "The lumps or humps or whatever they are kept disappearing under the water, but it was still pushing forward under the water. You could see something under the water."
There's a lot of under the waters here, lady.
Then it rushed forward and turned around under the water. Just kidding. I added that. From what we could gauge, it was about 20 to 30 feet long. There was nothing else in the loch. No boats.
No deer. No
Seals.
no
Nothing.
elephants.
End quote. Well, we improvised a little bit.
Yeah.
Gary Campbell, who, if you remember, is the keeper of the official Loch Ness Monster Registrar.
And soup.
And soup maker, said, "In terms of video evidence, there's been 2 or 3 really good videos in the past, but this is certainly up there with the best of them."
Ah, there it is. The best of the best of the best.
Yeah. But Dr. Darren Naish, a zoologist and author of Hunting Monsters, is skeptical of the video footage they captured. Here's what he said. "They're nothing more than unidentifiable specks on the water, and there's no indication that we're seeing something that's especially large or unusual in shape. The object must be small. I estimate less than 50 centimeters long." That's teeny.
What?
"I see no reason why they just can't be birds, probably ducks." End quote.
Oh, wow. I'm glad you got very specific with the probably ducks thing.
So this person's like, this
guy's
footage
just
is
mean.
bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
hate
some
this guy.
ducks. But then you've got the monster hunter Steve like, wow, best footage ever. So you got both ends of the spectrum with this video.
Yeah.
And I watched this video and I kind of agree with the zoologist because
The ducks.
yeah, because you'll see for yourself, it really just looks like something tiny creating a wave behind it. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because they are filming it from quite a distance too. So.
Oh, okay.
So there's been many searches organized to hunt for Nessie throughout the years. Here are some main examples I want to call out. We've got Edward Mountain Expedition in 1934. 20 men with binoculars and cameras positioned themselves around the loch from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for 5 weeks.
Oh, God. That's a long time.
Yeah, beginning on 13th of July, 1934. Although 21 photos were taken, none were considered conclusive.
Jesus.
And then we have the Loch Ness Phenomena Investigation Bureau from 1962 to 1972. It was a UK-based society formed to study Loch Ness to identify the creature known as the Loch Ness Monster or determine the causes of reports of it. And then we have Robert Rhine's studies, which happened 1972, 1975, 2001, 2008. And this was a group of researchers from the Academy of Applied Science and led by Robert Rhines. They did like sonar examination, and over the years they found quite a few evidence. Their sonar unit caught a moving target that was about 20 to 30 feet in length. Their floodlit camera captured a pair of underwater photos that appeared to be a flipper. But of course, skeptics think that maybe it was just air bubbles, rock, or fish fin.
Yeah.
Some photos will show unknown animals in various positions and lighting.
A deer is just underwater and like...
Yeah, it's very possible, especially if they get it at a weird angle.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do deer really go under the water?
No.
No? Never mind.
I don't think ever.
One photo appeared to show the head, neck, and upper torso of a plesiosaurus-like animal, which is cool. But skeptics say that, that's a log.
Oh, it's a log. Of course. How could I be so naive?
There was one weird photo that showed like a horned gargoyle head.
Oh.
But skeptics say that was a tree stump.
Oh my hell.
In 2001, they filmed a V-shaped wake on the water surface, even though the water was still on a calm day. They've also filmed something on the floor of the loch that looked like a carcass. And they found marine clamshells and fungus-like organisms that are not normally found in freshwater lochs. So this implies a connection to a possible entry for the creature to and from the sea. 1987, we have Operation Deep Scan. They used 24 boats equipped with echo-sounding equipment, and apparently the scientists made sonar contact with an unidentified object of unusual size and strength.
It sounds like the rats from Princess Bride.
I know. When I read that, I was like, that sounds familiar. What is that? Yeah, Rouse.
Rodents of unusual size.
Yeah. Then 2003, we have a BBC-sponsored search. They used 600 sonar beams and satellite tracking. No animal of substantial size was found, though, so that didn't really turn up anything. And then we have the one that you mentioned last week, Search for Nessie, that happened this year. It was the weekend of August 27th. And it was the largest organized Nessie hunt for over 50 years.
And what did they find?
Basically nothing. So they had...
At least they went.
Yeah. They had sonars for mapping the lake bed, thermal imaging drones, hydrophones to hear sounds from the depths.
Nessie's in her cave just like laughing at everyone.
Yeah, she probably was like, there's way too many people, I'm gonna hide.
Yeah.
And hundreds of people were invited to a live stream of the water's surface, so a bunch of people could keep an eye out.
That's weird. I'd probably watch it, though.
Yeah, it would probably be boring, but...
Yeah,
but it would make you feel like you're participating in searching for Nessie.
Yeah, you're just like sitting there, or they're sitting there in their submarine or whatever, like... Beep. For
beep,
hours.
Beep. That's pretty good.
I like yours.
We've been recording for too long. Now we're getting loopy. And you're still exhausted. Yeah. Alistair Matheson, the skipper of the Deep Scan. Do you know what a skipper is?
A skipper is a sailor. Captain.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
So Alistair showed how the boat's sonar technology had recently spotted a perfect outline of a huge Nessie-shaped monster.
Oh, it's Nessie-shaped.
Yes. But it turned out to be a sunken Nessie replica that was made for a movie about the monster.
Oh,
and they abandoned it in the loch.
No. That's actually funny. Like, they probably did it as
They were
a
probably
joke.
so excited when they saw it on the sonar. Like, oh my God, we finally found her.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's a prop.
Gosh, that's so sad.
So they didn't find anything significant in this search, but they had a lot of fun coming together as a community to celebrate and support the unknown mysteries of life.
That is so sweet. Not.
It is sweet, though.
Yeah, okay, it is.
Here's a quote from Craig Whitefield, who joined in on the search. I think there's always going to be a small part of me that wants to believe. It's the same with every legend out there. It just takes one person to believe, and it just continues.
Aww, that's so inspirational.
It is. Just one person needs to believe in a fairy and they'll stay alive.
I was going to say, just one person needs to believe in me. Anyone?
I believe in you.
Anyone? Crickets.
Sometimes. So here are the main explanations of what the Loch Ness Monster really is. Eels. In 2018, 2019, there were DNA samples tested, and they were able to confirm that eels were found in the loch. There was no DNA evidence of sturgeon, catfish, or sharks, which is other things that people guessed it could be. But we do have DNA evidence of eels, and people think maybe these eels, some of them might be giant eels.
Okay, so we got eels for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got the plesiosaur, the dinosaur that went extinct a long time ago. Of course, that one seems very unlikely, but
yeah,
where's
the bones at?
Like that one, like we said, that's probably the idea of what Nessie used to look like with the hoaxes.
Yeah.
But with the newer images, it seems more like an eel rather than that kind of dino.
Yeah.
Elephant. So this is why. In 2006, paleontologist Neil Clark mentioned that traveling circuses might have allowed elephants to bathe in the loch, so their trunk could look like a Nessie head and neck, and the elephant's head and back could look like Nessie's humps in the water.
Yeah,
So you can see it.
I can see that, yeah. But
it's possible that some of the older hoax photos could have been an elephant.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But also, yeah, how often does this circus come through?
Right. That would maybe account for 5 of the photos at most, and back when there was traveling circuses, so that's not really a thing anymore. Next we have Greenland shark, but basically it's just Jeremy Wade, who's a zoologist and TV presenter, investigated the Loch Ness Monster in 2013 in his show River Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've seen that.
Out of all possibilities, he thinks it could be a Greenland shark. Boat wakes, the Apple Maps photo in 2014 is a good example of people mistaking Nessie for boat wakes.
Mm-hmm.
Logs is another thing it could be. There's weird-shaped logs, weird-shaped tree trunks that wash ashore or go to the surface when they are decomposing. Because sometimes they'll eventually rupture at one end and propel the log through the water or to the surface for a bit. And last would be optical illusions. Wind conditions can give a choppy matte appearance to the water with calm patches. Atmospheric refraction could distort the shape and size of objects and animals. Internal seiches. So here's a little bit more detail about that. It's caused by surface winds that push the warmer upper layer of the water in the loch out of place. When the warmer water swings back, this creates waves in the top layer of water below. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So like overlaps?
Yeah,
kind of?
I guess. And these underwater waves could create illusions and cause floating objects like logs to move through the water in the opposite direction.
Or otters.
Or what? Or otters.
I will never get over that.
And again, the Loch Ness is along the Great Glen Fault, so maybe some of these weird experiences could be caused by an earthquake.
Yeah.
Just creating a disturbance on the surface of the water from even release of gas from the fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then other optical illusions caused by wind slicks, otters, ducks, swimming deer. You get the idea. So there's a lot of different explanations out there.
I just want the 100% truth and proof. That's all I want.
Well, then we'd be out of business.
Damn, you're right. I think we should add this to our list of places to go, things to see. Because I want to see a bunch of eels or eel, doing weird, creepy shit.
Do you, though? So I've got some reviews of Loch Ness. And maybe after I read the reviews, you'll be like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to go. But for real, these reviews are just really stupid. So I want to make fun of them. So here's a review from TripAdvisor. The title is Couldn't Understand the Locals. December 2022. Went for a swim in Loch Ness, and it was the wettest water I have ever encountered, probably due to the temperature, which was surprisingly cold. Spent a whole week there and never saw the monster once. The man at the shop told us if we sat perfectly still on the bench, we were more likely to see him. But we didn't see a thing. Lots of people were in and out of the shop and were usually laughing quite loud, which could have scared him away. Not going back until something is done about the weather.
Oh my gosh. So he wants to change the weather, and the shopkeeper just told him to sit there for hours upon hours.
And then these stupid people who are laughing, scaring away Nessie. You'll never get to see Nessie if people are laughing.
So dumb. But bravo with that review. Is that a 1-star or 2-star?
That's a 1-star. All of these reviews are 1 stars.
Good.
And I have a few Google reviews as well.
Perfect.
This is from Maven Ray Lee, 3 years ago. The people here were really critical of my dinner choices. I decided to go to the river and catch myself some dinner, but then everyone kept looking at me weirdly and saying that I was going to get sick. Others seemed disappointed that I had eaten Nessie. People honestly should not put their pets in the lake. How rude. What the fuck is this person talking about?
Oh, they think Nessie's a pet of someone's.
And they got 7 thumbs ups, 7 likes to that review.
God.
Okay. I don't know why, but okay.
Humanity is doomed.
This review, 5 months ago, by Robloxian Gang. Nessie will never amount to a hill of beans.
What does that mean? Baked beans? Refried beans? Black? Pinto? Kidney? What are you talking about? Lima? Come on.
It means something of trifling value. Virtually nothing at all.
You trifling bitch.
This review is from a year ago by Callum. Didn't see Big Nessie, but found my dad who ran away when he saw me.
Oh my gosh, his dad's just been hanging out at Loch Ness, just waiting for Nessie.
And then
he sees
he's
his
like,
son,
oh
he's
shit,
like,
my son.
Peace, bye. Sorry I left when you were 5.
This one's from Riley O'Shaughnessy, 4 years ago. Hell to the heckin' no, am I gonna even put a toe in that water? For Christ's sake, there's a big ol' snake. But they spelled snake, snack.
There's a big old snake. That one might be my favorite.
Yeah. Glitter Goku, 11 months ago, said, too much water.
Yeah, I can see that.
They
need to
have
drain
a
it a
point.
little bit,
It has a lot of water. We made that clear at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, with the stuff, the stats.
It's the stats that we read that we don't even remember, so we can't repeat them.
Not at all.
It was like the most freshwater lakes in all of UK or whatever. I don't know. Chris Oglesby, 5 years ago, says, no monster, sorely disappointed, bloody Scottish.
Yeah, I'd probably put the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, where's the fucking monster? You guys are boring. I came here and I spent thousands of dollars probably. Where's the goddamn monster?
Yeah, a lot of people think it's just kind of a tourist trap, but I don't know.
Yeah,
A lot of people have exciting experiences of seeing Nessie and taking pictures and getting all over the news, so...
I've also heard that it's beautiful over there, so you could just go for a
it's
vacation.
Scotland. You can go anywhere in Scotland. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I assume. I don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the Loch Ness and get that little cottage on the hill and just
It sounds so romantic.
overlook it. Yeah.
I want to drink some Irish coffee while we sit.
Irish coffee in Scotland. Yeah.
Dang
That'll
it.
be wonderful.
We'll drink some Scottish coffee.
What exactly makes it
We'll just,
Scottish?
okay, listen. We'll just drink coffee while we sit outside of our cottage.
Yes.
And just watch the lake.
Yeah, and the Nessie.
And Nessie.
Because we'll see it. We have this connection with cryptids.
Yeah. We have psychic powers. We can just summon Nessie. It's no big deal.
You just say the name 3 times. Nessie, Nessie, Nessie. There it is. There it is. I
We
see
hear
it outside.
like creepy knocking on the door.
Ew. You can
With a
see,
flipper.
It's like wet.
It's like a Bloody Mary thing, but with like a
Ew.
bathtub.
Ew. It's in my bathtub right now.
Like you turn off
slithering
all the
around.
lights. You're in your bathtub. All the lights are off.
Yes.
You stare down at the bath water. Nessie, Nessie, Nessie.
That'd be so cool.
And then you see little humps come out of the
Oh,
water.
the humps. Oh, that'd be so cool. That's like the tiniest Nessie, too, because usually it's like 40 whatever feet.
20 feet. It's like a 20-foot
Yeah.
long monsters all of a sudden in your bathtub with
It's
you.
all like crinkled up like a little spaghetti noodle.
Ew.
So cute.
So thanks for listening, everyone. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Of course, we'll post all these photos for you after this episode. So take a look at all those pictures. See what you think. If it's all a bunch of hill of beans. Is that how you use the phrase?
Yes. I think that's how the kids these days use it.
or if it is real.
Or if it's a mountain of non-beans.
Not beans.
Legumes.
Yeah. And support us, patreon.com/weirdaholics. Join our donor party.
If everyone who listens just goes onto our Patreon and does the lowest tier,
Then we made like $10.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's great. We just make $10. Good one, Dad.
We appreciate all of you. Thank you for listening.
Drink. Drink. Creepy.